this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 weird vibrational secrets that you may have never heard of, and just knowing these 3 things will totally transform the way you relate to life. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how these 3 vibrational secrets that once you know, it changes everything. Okay? The reason I say that is because the way you look at life and how you look at life normally, knowing these things changes the way that you go about your daily life and the kind of energy you put into certain type of situations. What you do will change once you know these 3 things. Okay, so let's just get into it, okay? First off, let's understand that everything in our life is vibration. Everything is vibration. And it's just different degrees of vibration of what we experience. So we always experience in life that which we are the vibration of. We could also think of our vibrations for like individually. Our vibrations are a combination of what we think, how we feel, and how we act. These 3 things make up our vibration. Now, in the same way that we are consciousness, when we look at that around us, everything is also vibration. It's just vibrating at different frequencies. So when we look at this wall, that painting back there, it's all vibrating at a certain frequency. And there's even different color perceptions we'll see in it. So we'll see color in it, but those are just different vibrations. But we give it labels. We say, that's color. That is the shape. That's a square. That's a triangle. They're all vibration. It's just different forms, different shapes, different colors, different ways of interpreting it through our senses and the different way they may look, but everything is vibration. So, when it comes to vibration, let's understand a couple really cool ideas. Now, the first one I want to talk about is vibration and clothes. So, whatever you are feeling is emanating a frequency. That frequency is impressing upon whatever objects you're around, whatever clothes you are wearing. It is impressing that energy signature of what you're currently feeling onto your environment. So if you were to go into your closet right now and find an old school sweater of you that you used to wear with maybe an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, you might wear that sweater and maybe you haven't worn it since then. So it's like you haven't worn it in a long time. You wear that sweater, you might start having feelings and thinking about them. Maybe you're not like, falling in love with them again or anything. But maybe what happens is you start to feel some type of remembrance of them. And it's because it kind of brings you back to that. And maybe you've experienced this before, even with that of scent. You ever smelled something and it just like teleports you back to that moment? That's happened to me. I smell something and there's a lemongrass smell that anytime I smell lemongrass, it brings me back to this trip when I went to Grand Canyon with my dad and my sisters. And during that time, I was reading some books on the way there, and I was starting to go through a spiritual awakening. It kind of planted a seed of me seeing reality completely different because I was reading a couple books that just really opened my mind. And when that happened, I associate that smell of lemongrass with that. So that vibration literally teleports me back to the remembrance of that experience. And I can then tap into some of those past thoughts and emotions that I felt then. But you want to be kind of strategic with this, because what if you're like, well, I don't want to wear that sweater when I was around my ex whatever, because I don't want to necessarily think about them. There wasn't as many positive situations or whatever it is, or it didn't end well, whatever. But be aware of the energy you are emitting to that of things like your clothes. Now, I was actually talking to my buddy Ryan Cropper, who some of you may know from on YouTube, and we were talking about this in a live Q&A on Instagram. If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram yet, what are you doing? It's right here. We do live Q&As quite often. I've been bringing subscribers on, talking, and bringing other YouTubers on. So if you want to be a part of that, Instagram right there. But anyways, Ryan and I were talking, and we were talking about clothes and energy signatures on objects. And one thing he said is, switch out your clothes. Switch out your clothes every so often because you want to keep things fresh. So, for example, it's funny too because I do this even not subconsciously, but like there's a certain, for example, when I used to live in my old house before I moved in this house, I lived with a few roommates, and it was a really nice house. It was a cool experience. However, there was a certain song that I would listen to in the background whenever I was doing my work. I mean, I do like work about 4 or 5 hours right when I wake up in the morning before I go to the gym. And when I'm doing that, there's a certain song I put on repeat. It's just like a chill step song. It's like real chill, you know? And when I'm listening to that, I get into this tunnel vision with what I'm doing. And then it like gets me into the state. However, when I listen to that same song that I used to listen to, it almost brings back living in that house, which is it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it starts to bring back the thoughts I was having at the time. It brings back some of the emotions, the memories. It's funny how this all works, but in the present moment right now, you are drawing upon different synchronicities in your life that reflect back to you that of whatever vibration you are in and whatever vibration you are being influenced by. So, the reason I say that is be more aware. Be more aware of maybe the clothes that you're wearing. Now, this doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all. So, it doesn't have to be like, I have to buy all new clothes because I just went through a breakup or whatever it is. It can be more so, you just are aware of the kind of energy that was associated with certain things. Even certain artwork. There may be certain artwork that has a symbolism. You know, I'll probably always associate these pieces of art in here with this growth of me just, you know, putting out content and me enjoying my life and getting into this new realm of what I'm doing. And for a period of time, it will serve me. But eventually what will happen is I'll move into a different house. And I may want different art pieces that reflect that time in my life. You see? Now, it doesn't have to be that serious of a thing, though. You may say, well, I always feel like buying new clothes every time something happens. You don't have to. You could also clear your clothes. You could clear some of your clothes, maybe using Palo Santo, maybe by washing it, hanging out in the sun. And the sun can be powerful as well. But nonetheless, be aware of the energy signature. Now, another thing that we talked about, Ryan and I, when we were on that live, is we talked about how there may be somebody that picks up an object and they can feel the prior person's feelings that used to own that object. So for example, he was telling me about a time when like somebody would pick up a knife that a serial killer, it's getting kind of dark here, a serial killer used, and by picking up that knife, they started to have like a desire or a feeling or a sense of using it in a bad, negative way. Now, not saying that they don't have responsibility and all that stuff. What I'm saying is objects retain an energy signature and intention. So, what is one powerful thing that you could do today that would help you in this way? Well, let me show you. This is what you can do. What you can do is have an object that you maybe put intention in. It could be, I don't know, I just got this motivated bracelet for my birthday from Victor. It's really cool though. Okay, say I were to put intention into this Moldavite bracelet. And the intention was to feel a certain way, maybe to always, anytime I look at it, to feel like centered back on my goals or something like that. If I set that intention and then I do that every day for like maybe a week, and then I always put it on, I'm wearing it every day, every time I look at it, it primes me for that state and it helps attribute to that energy. So it's almost like I'm using it as a tool rather than just being aware that, okay, you know, this object has been around this, so this is like the energy signature. But in general, simply knowing this can begin to change your perspective on how you look at things. Because think about it, there's objects everywhere. There's clothes you're constantly wearing. So, when you look at that, just be aware. Just be aware. Are you wearing clothes that you wore like 10 years ago? Because maybe that's causing you to feel similar emotions, similar things you were going through. So in general, what I do, one thing about me that I've never really done is, you know how people like buy hand-me-down clothes? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I've always just been aware that there's people's energy that is in that, and I don't know that person. So if you go to like, even if it's family that gives it to me, it's like, yeah, I love you and everything, but I don't know what you were thinking or feeling when you were wearing that clothes, and I don't know if I want to like have that real close to me. You know what I mean? So just be aware of it. So in Vegas, they have places that we go to, like Buffalo Exchange or something like that, and we go there, and it's like hand-me-down clothes. You might be also bringing in someone else's energy unless you clear it. Putting it in the sun is powerful, or just buying fresh clothes. But nonetheless, Maybe it works out really well. Maybe you buy like some enlightened dude's shawl or something. Now you wear it and you're like, you feel really good. I'm just saying, you could use this in a positive way, or you could use it just with awareness and be like, okay, I'm gonna kind of back that up a little bit. Now, the second vibrational secret, it's kind of weird. This one's not as weird. The first one's kind of weird, the third one's kind of weird. This one's kind of just like, I just kind of want you to know this, all right? Wherever your focus goes is where your energy goes. Now think of it like this. I've shared this before, by the way, but I'm just gonna reiterate it because it's so powerful. When you look at that of your body, understand there's an energy field that goes around your body. And in that energy field are the thoughts you consistently think, the feelings you consistently have, the actions you're taking are causing a pattern. And what happens is you have these thoughts, feelings, and actions within your energy field. You go out into the world, you may link up and vibrationally resonate with people that are in a similar vibration. Now, in the same way, we are the microcosm, we got the macrocosm of the earth. Earth, Gaia, whatever name we want to use, has an electromagnetic field around it. We call this an aura. And within it is the collective consciousness thoughts of many, many people. Now, when the collective thoughts of many, many people are put onto things such as war, such as negative emotions, such as the lower vibrational states of consciousness, it keeps people within a certain frequency range. So, this is where we get into understanding that the media, there's certain influences. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm not saying that we have to be fearful of it. I'm just saying let's be aware of it, because whatever we put our focus on is the reality we are shifting to. So, be very aware of what television you watch. TV's over there, that's why I did that. What television you watch. Be very aware of watching the news, the media. Be aware of all the different things you tune to, because you are literally bringing more of that reality into your life. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in years. And some people are like, that's bad. You don't know about the stuff that's happening in this country, this country, this country. It hasn't affected me in a way that where I need to know about it in order to live my life. And if I would have known about it, I would have been feeding that old reality with that negative type energy, and therefore it would have grown that. That's why Mother Teresa said, you never have like a protest for war, but if you have a protest for peace, count me in. She said something like that. So the idea behind that is go for the positive, because the positive is what ends up growing. Whatever you focus on grows. So be aware of what that focus is and choose to go in that direction. Instead of resisting, allow it to be there. Recognize it. I'm not saying you have to bring it in and be like, oh, I hope you're here forever. But you're just aware of it, and then as you're just aware of it, it starts to go away, and then you can say yes to something else. It just becomes like a choice. That's where the power is. The power is on the focus, not on the resistance of something else. So, this is about just being aware. Be aware that yes, there may be some type of agenda where it keeps us within a certain frequency range with the media, but the more you pay attention to that, and the more you feed the reality of there's people doing this to us, is the more that reality is fed anyway. So, the key to this is being aware of it and letting it go. That's what the key is. Be aware of it, I'm aware that the media doing its thing, but guess what? We got online now. We got online, the internet, and we are the new media. Got a YouTube channel. I can share ideas. So this is the new way of going about things, and that's why they're losing as much of a grip, because we're able to kind of let the people can decide. So that's the second vibrational secret. Now, the third the weird vibrational secret, has to do with something else I was talking about with Ryan, and it has to do with understanding locational energy and air. Now, even in the air that we breathe, we are taking in information. Have you ever felt it when you go somewhere specific, some location, that all of a sudden you feel a tightness, or you feel loose and you feel happy? Well, the different thoughts of the people that have been there, the collective amount of people that have had thoughts there, has influenced that environment. So, when you go to different locations, you are also linking up to the past type vibrations that were there, and it is influencing you, whether you're aware of it or not. Maybe to different degrees, depending on how much power you give it or how long you're there. But if you were to go to, let's say, a graveyard where a lot of people are very sad, a lot of people go there consistently, they're very sad, you may feel a certain type of energy. If you go to a place that's maybe like a wedding chapel, you may feel a certain type of energy. You may feel lightness or happiness or like love or romance. There's different places you go that will have a different energy. Now, think about it also like this. When you move into a new house, the imprint and the energy signature of the last person that lived there or family that lived there is imprinted into the house, into the environment. That's why they say it's very important to use sage or to use Palo Santo, because you want to clear out the energy. And that's what I did when I bought this house, because the people that lived here before, or they own the house, I'm renting it, the people that lived here before, they were the landowners. They seemed really cool. They had a very Zen type style. It was like they probably into somewhat similar stuff as me. It was a family of husband, wife, and kid. And at the same time though, I don't know what they were going through. So what I did is I saged and then I Palo Santo'd the house like 2 or 3 times. And a little tip for that Ryan was telling me is, if you can, to like leave the windows open and to leave the sun coming in like all day. And you have to have some way for the energy to go out. I never did that before. I would just like sage. I was probably just like a pressure cooker. But I would just sage. Now what I do is I'll be open up the door. It's kind of cold, but I'll be doing that. So the idea behind this is to be aware of the energy and the space that you have. And also think of it like the air as well. What are you breathing in? And the awareness is not in like, oh, people are influencing me. Oh, I'm a victim of all this circumstance. The key is just being aware that sometimes there may be an influence of certain places you go. You may go to a certain type of restaurant and it has a certain vibe. That vibe will influence the food. It will influence your experience. It's about being aware of all of this. So this kind of weird vibrational tip is for you to be aware of how you are relating to the environment. You don't have to give up your power everywhere you go. But if there's something you can do about it, like maybe going somewhere that it feels negative, then maybe just don't go there again. Or maybe go somewhere else. If you want to start to vibrate with the reality you want, maybe go to places that influence your vibration in a positive way. For example, you may want to go do some type of research somewhere and go to a company or go to like a library or go somewhere where it kind of influences that vibration within you. I always use this example, but if you wanted to own your art gallery studio, go to an art gallery because there's a vibration there, and talk to the owner because that person has a vibration as well. She or he does. And when you talk to that person, you begin to feel similar emotions. That begins to leak into you. So understand with vibration, everything is vibration, and what you can begin to do is tune to the vibration of the reality you want and cultivate that environment in a powerful way. So the clothes that you wear, the environment that you're in, the air that you breathe in, the collective consciousness of the planet. You may think I'm having my own thoughts, but some of those thoughts may be just thoughts of other people. Maybe like I'm at a sports game and I'm really mad this team lost. Maybe you're kind of mad, but maybe also it's amplified by the other people. And because you're there, it's like you feel it even more. That's why a lot of people say, I would never go to a baseball game, but I would love to, or I would never watch baseball, but I love going to a baseball game. Well, there's an energy there that they like, and they can kind of feed on it. So that's what that's about. So everything I'm sharing with you today is about you becoming more aware of your own vibration and how you relate to the world. So if I could say anything to you, is just to become more aware. Maybe switch out your clothes a little bit, wash them, put them in the sun, and maybe clear out your space, open up the windows, and start to relate to life in a way where you're just aware of the vibrations you're putting even into your body. It's a vibrational hack as well. But all of these things you become aware of, you start to become more mindful of, and then you start to really go in the direction you want. So with all that being said, something else that I do have is if you want the most powerful meditation I've made for shifting to parallel realities, it's in the top of the description box below. You can watch it and just read the comments to see how powerful it is. It's about shifting to the reality you want, so you can imagine, you know, everything is vibration, but imagine the reality you want, shift to it, give yourself permission. This is a powerful meditation that I recommend you listen to for 21 days. It's going to be in the top of the description box below. Like I said, just read the comments to see what's possible. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. I've been bringing people on Instagram. It's been pretty cool. If you want to be a part of that, go and follow me on Instagram right here. I also bring on other YouTubers as well, which is pretty cool. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And that's what you do. Does things now is you actually have to hit that button to see the daily vids. Got a lot more stuff coming. Other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.